Greetings and welcome to episode 15 of the Weekly Review, a weekly podcast where we sit down and talk about the games that we've been playing here at Words Back Games. I'm your host, Amy K. Alexander, joined this week by Mr. Daft Moody in a very nice shirt.
It's Monday. You know what that means, ladies and gentlemen. It's actually what it means.
Video games, right? That's what it
Video
means, right?
games. Reviews or impressions.
Reviews and impressions.
Yes.
Today we've got reviews and impressions, and demos were played by those of us
who
who have PlayStation 5s.
They're very scarce right now.
They're a little bit scarce, yeah.
Just a little bit, yeah. Like they turn up and then they're literally gone within a minute.
Yeah, I'm so glad I played the game when I did. Now, because remember when I was on the fence about whether it was worth it, and I wasted literally 2/3 of an entire day refreshing pages and stuff, and then finally got a pre-order, and then I was like, man, was that worth all the effort? Yeah, it was. Yeah. It's nearly February, and you still can't get one.
Yep. Some turned up last week, and then they just went whoosh.
Poof. They're gone. I bet you're glad you've got your gaming PC.
Oh hell yeah!
Because you get that next gen experience because you've got a PC that can just fucking destroy next gen games. Because that's what PCs do. We're going to talk about some video games, actually ones that we've played for the first time in over a month. On this episode.
Know, it's amazing.
It's crazy. It's almost like what this podcast was designed for.
Just a little bit, yeah. But at the same time, we can't do anything if there's no games.
Yeah, it's true. we can.
I wondered, last year, we had 1 week that there was no real new game that was coming out. So if that happens this year, it's going to be
yeah. Oh well, we'll figure something out. Your solution was to play Football Manager, and my solution was to make a 70-minute Bloodborne video. So I feel like we coped okay with no new games.
I won't lie. Yeah, I've played a lot of Football Manager.
You did. I see you. Every time you log on Steam, I see it pops up. Immediately after we've finished playing Among Us, David Moody is playing Football Manager.
It's the simplest thing to switch my brain off to.
Yeah, that's fair, right? That's fair. It's just you chill out
about it.
Yeah. There are games that are just there are games that just be like that.
Oh hell yeah!
I didn't actually open my drink. I was open it before we start recording because of the noise that can makes. And now it's on the podcast recorder forever. I combined 2 Christmas gifts for 2021. I was showing you them before. Phil got me, because I got him for Secret Santa, and he got me some nice pens. Because I never have pens. And I have these really nice glitter gel pens.
Nice.
They don't write glitter. They're covered in glitter, inside, so they're glittery.
Very nice.
And then somebody else bought me a Sherlock notebook. I don't like Sherlock.
If you're audio listener only, Amy is lifting these up to the camera.
I don't like Sherlock, but I thought if I combine these gifts, I can have a notebook that I can fill all of my thoughts about all of the games that we play for the entire year in. And then I can read it at the end of the year.
Very nice. Very nice. I'm wearing the shirt I got for Christmas.
It's a very nice shirt. I feel I've called it out twice now.
I felt like you raised the bar on the last podcast, and I was just thinking, I can't. I have to come back at least looking some more respectable, not just like a slob 9 times out of 10 I am.
Yeah, and I'm wearing the same t-shirt I've been wearing for the last 3 days. So, who's the chump now? Wait, it's me. I bought some new hair dye though, so I'm dyeing my hair sometime this week. So.
Same color or new color?
Oh, it's a new color. Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know whether it's a good idea or not, but I'm doing it.
Go for it, Amy.
I could have touched the red up because I've still got a box of the red, but I was like, no, I want something different. It's been red for a long time, or
it has.
Meant to be red because I'm very bad at keeping it up. So the red washes
out.
Go white
Scorpio.
No, I don't want to go white. No, I feel like sticking in that sort of red, purple, that kind of hue. That side of the color wheel.
Yeah.
That's where that's where I look best.
It's what you want to go for. You gotta go for it.
But let's talk instead of fashion and Christmas gifts. Exactly 1 month later. Let's talk, let's talk about some video games today. We've got 3 video games to talk about, Mooney. The main one, the one that's in the title, is our Hitman 3 review.
Review / impressions. I haven't finished the game yet.
I have, and I've replayed some of the levels, so it's a review. You know what? The distinction between review and impressions. I feel like we talked about this on Friday.
I'm sure you brought it up last
it's
episode.
like the distinction between review and impressions is just whatever. You know, like it's a review because we say it's a review.
Yeah.
Hitman 3. Have you played the previous 2 in the trilogy?
Tried to, didn't click with it.
All right, then, as somebody who loves them, I'm very interested for you to go first.
I think this is a good game. I think there are some. This is the thing about I am not the Hitman person for this. So for me, knowing that I've only got 3 missions left, like it's 6 missions, 6 or 7 missions whatsoever. So I'm basically halfway there. I think it lacks value. For me, just a normal person, not a normal person who's not the biggest Hitman person, who's just playing it because I want to try things. I always want to try something new and everything like that. And even though the last one didn't really click with me, this one is clicking with me. I have had fun doing this game, playing the levels and everything like that. But 6 levels for me seems like it's very lacking in content for the price they are asking for this game. And I just feel like it's not worth it for the price. I feel like it's kind of like the Resident Evil 3 situation last year, where the game was very light on content. That's why they stuffed in that multiplayer thing with it to try and so they can, quote unquote, show they had a bag, that it was worth the price they had it on. Going back to the game, though, I do think I've had fun with the game. There is a part that has fundamentally irritated the crap out of me, which
we'll get to that later.
We will get back. We will get to that. But yeah, I've enjoyed the sneaking around. I've enjoyed the mechanics of like just trying to plot. How am I going to assassinate this person, type of thing, or assassinate a few of these people, etc. And it's always been fun to try and plan out and everything, especially when you see how they're walking and moving around in the world. It is very well done. I do enjoy that aspect for it.
Cool. So, like, you'll be surprised to know that I disagree with most of what you said about at the beginning. Not the stuff about the game being good. I think the game's great. Like, Hitman 3 is a weird game in the modern era. Do you remember when, like, reviews 10 years ago, they used to have scores and they used to have, like, the break, so they used to give individual parts of a game scores. So, like, the graphics would get a score and the audio would get a score. And there would always be, like, a section for replayability, and that would get a score. And now, nowadays, I feel like a lot of modern games that aren't multiplayer games are designed for replayability.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, with Hitman, like, I finished it the same day I started it. Like, because, it's like, if you play the six missions, I did the trainer mission again. So I was like, I need to do the trainer mission, and then I did it, and then I was like, oh, this is the same trainer mission from the other 2 games. Like, which makes sense, because it was the same last time, which was funny, because I just got to do it anyways. But, like, the fun of Hitman, for me, is I do everything through once. Because there's, like, mission stories, which you do. And, like, each level seems to push you towards one specific mission story. So, like, in the first level, you pretty much, from the get-go, you've got the guy, Lucas, saying, hey, do this. And then that starts a mission story, and then you do that. And that's kind of like what it is for all of them. But then it's like, as soon as I was finished, I was like, cool, I'm going to go back. I want to do the other mission stories that I didn't do. I want to do some of the challenges. Because, like, you get the even more creative kills. Like, I went back to the Dubai mission, killed the dude with a golf ball. Like, because that's the thing. It was a challenge. Like, kill a dude with a golf ball. I can't remember what the challenge name was, but it made me laugh. So for me, like, it's like the story I tell about playing the first game in this trilogy, not the very first Hitman, where it's like when I first properly got it, was when I was playing the Sapienza mission, the Italy mission, and I did the main assassinations in the. You go in the mansion, you do the thing, and then from the park bench where like Hitman Man. Agent 47, thank you. Couldn't remember for a second there. Agent 47 starts, it's like you're facing the mansion, so you're facing the mansion, that's where the targets are, so that's naturally where you go straight away. But it's like, what if you turn this way and you turn right, and then you go down a street and there's like a whole town like down there that you don't engage with in like the course of doing the main assassinations. So like for me, it's like, yeah, if you're only gonna play it through once, that's totally fair. Like that's a fair way to play any video game. But for me, the joy of Hitman, at least the World of Assassination trilogy, is in like replaying the levels and doing different things in them.
Yeah, I do see where you're coming from with that. Like I said, this is a game for me. This is a game very aimed at the fans of Hitman because I have no idea what's going on in this story.
I have no idea what's going on in
the story.
And it
doesn't tell you what has happened previously whatsoever. You're just like, oh, okay, I'm doing this. I'm not going to spoil it. I don't want to spoil it for anyone. When it's just like, where this is happening and everything like that. It's not explaining anything.
Nope.
Oh, this thing literally happened. So again, well, I guess that was important, but now it is not important type of mentality. And I'm just like, whatever's going on with this game. It's a very... Yeah, for me, it just doesn't scream for replayability for a person who's not a Hitman person. If it's a person who loves Hitman, who's enjoyed those games like you are, you've got all the replayability for yourself as you want and everything. So, yeah, it just I have enjoyed it. I do. I am enjoying it, and I do intend to finish it because I have to. Because not that I have to. I'm only 3 levels away from the bugger. It's not gonna be that hard to do that.
Pumping up the game's finish numbers.
Basically, yeah, because I had a few games last year that was just like, yeah, I didn't finish a lot of games last year. For looking back on it, I really didn't die. But there was a few in my top 20 list that I was like, yeah, I didn't finish all of you, but you were great either way still. So yeah, my aim this year is to actually play more games because Amy kind of was like, 30
but
games?
Again,
those are rookie numbers, boy.
Played more than 100. Actually, played exactly 100. Finished maybe 30.
If I can get up to 50, I'll be pretty happy with that.
Like I said in my Bloodborne video, sunk cost fallacy is a thing, and you don't have to finish something just because you've started it.
Yeah, I agree with that.
But yeah, no, like the replayability is good, and it's great for me because I love solving the puzzles of figuring out how do I do this thing. Right?
Yeah.
Like, the actual puzzle in the second level, which was a really nice surprise because that was completely different from any Hitman experience I've ever had. But the replayability only works because there are dozens and dozens of approaches to what you're trying to do. Plus, on top of that, then you get the escalations and the contracts. So you can you can play a thing. You can people can make their own assassination missions with their own objectives against their own people in the same maps, for example. Or like escalations where it's like you do an assassination and then you do it again, but there's new rules where it's like you can't disguise yourself or you can't do that. So like there's tons there. If it's a game for you, obviously if it's not, like I can see why you would play it and go, yeah, there's not that much here. That's fair. That's a fair cop.
Yeah, I think going back in just to do the same thing but in a different way would get very samey for me very fast, and that's why I think it's doesn't have the replayability that I would want or anything like that.
I'm sorry. I looked across at the footage, and what you're about to see if you're watching the video is I kind of fucked up, and I throw a wrench at a guy and then punch a woman in the face.
Amy's like, I can't do this in real life.
No, it's like I threw the wrench and then the woman noticed and I walked up to her expecting to do the thing where you chokehold her and I just fucking punched her once in the face. And I was like, sitting there like,
didn't see anything, did you?
Oh God, what did I just do? That's why I was laughing because I was pissing myself laughing when I did it.
That's funny. I won't lie.
Yeah, like the levels themselves, because like right, we'll do the story first, because like you say you didn't have a clue what was going on. Moody, I've played all 3 games in the world of Assassination Trilogy. I didn't have a fucking clue what was going on. Like, honestly, like I would have liked a recap because the thing about replaying Hitman over and over again is like the cutscenes and the story kind of washes away in the memory of all of the different ways I've played this one particular level, right?
Yeah.
So it's like the story is not that great anyway. But it's never really been something I've been bothered about. So I've never really paid much attention. So like the cutscenes were happening, and I was just like, that was my moment to get a drink or look on Twitter or text you, asking you how you did the second mission, because the way I did it was kind of really hilarious.
Yeah,
I didn't really do anything.
How I did it. Yeah. We both did it very differently.
I was like Tuxedo Mask. I was like, my work here is done, but you didn't do anything. Yeah. So like the first level, Dubai, is like one of the best Hitman levels. Like traditional sort of classic Hitman levels, if that makes sense. It's like we've taken everything we've learned from the previous Hitman world of assassination games and put it all in this one level, and it feels amazing. And there's so many different things you can do, so many places you can go. Like I've played that level 3 times through, and I still haven't unlocked the challenge where I've been to every location on the map.
Yeah. I'll say one thing about the first level. What really made me laugh, because if you've listened to the podcast so many times, I feel like that, you know, I'm previously used to work in hospitality, and I didn't have the greatest end in my relationship in hospitality, because I hate hospitality. I think it's a terrible industry that needs fundamentally changing. But I digress. Like there's a part in that part where you can become a waiter. So I'm in the part. So I go into the kitchen, and the chef says, "Yo, waiter!" Like clicking his fingers at me, and I'm just like, "Is that motherfucker clicking his fingers at me?" Pardon my language there, ladies and gentlemen. I apologize. And I just went, "Oh, there's a hatchet there."
Yeah, there's footage, and I didn't put it in here, but there's footage where you go into a locker room in that level, and there's this dude who's sitting there in his undies because he's lost his uniform, which I thought was a really funny joke just to start with, because of like how Hitman works. Yeah. And there's this woman who's just like, he's just whinging about it, and he's being a complete prick, and this woman's just like, like, you know, taking the piss out of him, which was really funny. But then the guy was just like, "You don't understand. Women don't understand about military service." And then like, you just finished talking, and I just went, "All right then." And it's in the footage. I might try and dig it out somewhere. I saved my game, got my gun out, shot him a bunch, reloaded my game. I was like, that felt bad.
Yeah. That man didn't ask me for a question. That chef didn't click me anymore.
It's like, I see.
This is how it's gonna be.
It's gonna be. Oh, like a knife. Shing.
We don't condone this. Okay,
we do not condone violence
in real life.
in real life, but in Hitman, it's amazing. Yeah. So that's the first level. It's so good. The second level, I don't know how much I want to talk about the second, because I want to talk about the first 3 levels, because they're all very different.
Oh, hell yeah.
I don't know how much I want to talk about how much I want to talk in detail about the second level, because it was a wonderful surprise.
Yeah.
I'll talk a little bit about it, yeah, because our diverging paths were really interesting as well. So basically, when you get there, the main mission story of the level is there's a woman there. You're there to kill her. She's faked her death, and there's a fake funeral going to happen. But overnight, someone has died, like of an obviously fake suicide. And the woman who you're there to kill, who's the matriarch of the family, is called a private investigator. And you can take the role of the private investigator. And once you do, like, that disguise is foolproof. So, like, in all the other levels, there'll be, like, certain people who, when you're in disguise, will be able to see through the disguise. Like, but if you're the private investigator, because no one knows who he is, that disguise is foolproof. But then you get to go off and do an Agatha Christie novel for the rest of the level and solve the murder. Yeah. And it's amazing. Like, I did the whole thing. I got all the evidence and everything, figured out who it was. And then yeah, like I said to Moody, it's like when there's two objectives in that level, they both happen simultaneously, and I didn't really have to do anything to get them.
Yeah, yeah. It's that's what I think I've liked about this the most about it. It's that they're so different so far. What I've played, the first three levels are really so different, and they are really well done. Like I said, I do take my cap off to them if I had my cap on. For like it is a very well done world level designs of how they
My triple to
and the
them.
mechanics I think are really well done as well for all the characters and everything. So like and just to give you so many different in-depth parts is really really fun. Like yeah, I'd like to say I've had a lot of fun with this game. I have enjoyed myself.
Yeah, like the third level as well, which I want to give a shout out to Berlin. It's on the screen right now. That flips it in entirely in the other direction
Oh hell yeah! Yeah,
because you go from nobody can see through your disguise to there are targets in this massively packed German nightclub. You don't know who they are, but they know who you are, no matter what disguise you're wearing. So like, there's no
yeah. You
disguise
get
you can wear to
close to
get
them,
close to
they
them.
will notice you. Yeah,
And it's really difficult to get them. You've basically got to. Yeah, I'm not going to spoil anything, but basically, it's really difficult to get them because there's like hundreds upon hundreds of people in this nightclub.
yeah, and you have to get 4, 5.
Yeah, you have to
If I
get
remember
five,
rightly.
five out of 10.
Yeah,
There's 10 in the level, and you have to get 5 of them, and it's so cool. Like it's
yeah.
just so cool. It's an amazing level, but I'll be honest, like it's probably a level I'm never going to replay again because I don't know how high the replayability is in that one. But as like a
Yeah,
level to play through, it is just so amazing.
because there's so many different elements to it. Like there's a disco part to it. There's like a little camp area where they're dancing as well, but they're like drinks and like the bar
Yeah,
area, should I say?
the
And
outdoors part. Yeah,
yeah, there's so many different elements to it where you can
yeah,
hide, change, do all these things. It is like the level design. I think is really well done. They've done an
yeah,
excellent job with the level design.
yeah. Like the levels, like the replayability and the creativity in the game, like wouldn't work without like spot on level design. Like, and that's what I love about Hitman levels in general, but also the levels that I've played in Hitman 3 is they're just huge and so multi-part. But it's like even going into like because I love the fact that it's a stealth game where you don't necessarily really have to be all that stealthy, like
Yeah,
which is great for me because I'm terrible at stealth. But like it's social stealth. It's like the layered security. It's like cool. I need to get into this maintenance area. Right, cool. Well, then I need to be dressed as a maintenance worker because they're not just going to let, say, a waiter in, which is what I'm currently dressed as. So then it's like figuring out, right, where do I get a maintenance worker outfit from? And then you get it, and then that lets you in. You do whatever you need to do in there, and then it's like, cool, now I need to get to this other part, which means I need to blend in as someone else. And you know what it really, right, and I'm going to take a very short detour tangent. You know what? Hitman 3 is an amazing game, but you know what it really makes me look forward to even more? James Bond. Like because I feel like from a gameplay perspective,
yeah. Design
like
world and all like that. Yeah, I
yeah,
agree with
like
you.
this could like be an amazing James Bond game.
It could be very interesting. I'm very intrigued to see how they're going to do this. Hopefully, they change it up enough where it isn't just a
Yeah, like
skin.
it's not going to be a reskin because that's not how James Bond works.
Yeah,
Like, but yeah, like the fundamentals are there. I think where it's just like, yeah, this is going to make a really great James Bond.
yeah. Hopefully, yeah. I am looking forward to it. I think it could be really fun.
I'm just looking through my notes. Oh yeah, there's a thing where you can import levels into this game for if you own the previous two Hitmans, and I own one of them
Okay.
on PlayStation. Like I own the
Yeah.
first one, the second one I rented. But I was like, oh mint, I could import the because this is meant to be like the platform, right? Because this is the end of the trilogy, so you can just get
Yeah.
everything in. And I was like, cool, I could import the levels. The first game had some amazing levels, like Sapiens, I already talked about, or the French one where you drop the chandelier on the guy. And I was like, mint, because then you can play it. You play it in this, and you play it with like any of the new gadgets and stuff like that. And then I was like, how do I do it? Because I went into the thing in the game itself, and it was like you have to buy the access pass. And I was like, well, I shouldn't. I own Hitman on this platform. And then I was like, wait, let me check the FAQ. And then I'm moody. I've read that FAQ 3 times, and I'm still not sure how it works. Like it's so long and convoluted.
Oh,
And I was
God.
just like, for fuck's sake. Like, I think I need to get the second game. Like, because I think you've got to import the first game into the second game and then
Oh,
import that into the
God.
third game. But I'm not 100% sure, and that seems a bit
Yeah.
shitty. Like, can I not just access the levels I have from the first game? But I'm still working on it.
Yeah.
And then I clicked on the access for the second game because I was like, well, how much is it? Because I kind of would like to have like all of Hitman in this one area. It was like
Yeah.
£80 on the PlayStation Store, and I was like, what the
What?
bejesus? But it took me to the Game of the Year pack or something.
Still.
That's the first one it took me to. So I was like, huh, I can get this game for like £10. So like disc.
Oh,
But I was like,
Giddy
Jesus
ass, yeah.
fucking Christ. Like, I almost had a heart attack. I was like, what the hell? But yeah,
Bloody
it's a bit
hell.
of a mess. So I don't know. Like, that could have been implemented a lot better. And I've heard it's worse on PC because Hitman 3 is an Epic Games Store exclusive. And the other two aren't on the Epic Games Store. So I don't think it's available on there right now. So they've had a bit of a nightmare with that.
Yeah, they've had for the online thing, it's been a bit of a whole thing for them, really, hasn't it? And
Yeah,
it's
so you've
not-
had an issue, and I wasn't clear on what the issue was.
Yeah, so basically, I've played it offline. I've installed it just by the disc.
Right.
I haven't done
okay.
the updates or anything like that. So basically, after I completed mission 3, it locks me and saying I have to update the game. I have to download this new update or whatever to be able to play the final 3 missions. And I'm just like, that sucks. That is, for me, that is crap. Because what if no one has? There's still a lot of people out there who don't even have internet,
That's
and who
true.
they do play games just by buying the disc and just having it not through their. And that's just really crap, especially for the price you are asking for this game. Especially because a lot of people don't do it how you and me do it, Amy, renting the games through Boomerang and everything.
Shout out Boomerang.
Yeah, but they are brilliant. I won't lie.
They
They're
are,
great
that's true.
prices for it and everything. So, but yeah, it's when I was like, wait, what? So you're fundamentally forcing me. I have to do this. So that tells me the game. So what? The levels aren't on the disc, and you're downloading them to the disc now.
Maybe.
Or you have locked it in. Telling the CD they can only do this when they've updated the levels, which I think is even more crap.
Thing is, I mean, yes, not buying a disc and putting it in a console. You should just be able to play the game. Like,
Yeah,
obviously.
whatever state it's in, I've took that risk of whatever state that is on the disc.
But that's what I was about
Yeah,
to say. Like, it's not. It is an IO Interactive issue because they're the ones that published the game. Maybe I don't think they are, but they're the ones that made the game. But whatever. But like, this is just a day one patch. This is just a games industry thing where it's just like, hey, here's a day one patch that fixes things, because this could just be fixes for things that are in the latter 3 levels. It might not be necessarily that the levels themselves aren't on the disc, but because you and I both know that gold doesn't really mean gold anymore.
oh, it doesn't mean that.
Like,
Yeah.
it's just like they're still fixing the game or optimizing the game or whatever. So it's like, I imagine, like, if you played 10 AAA games over the course of 2021 in the same way, where you got the disc, you put it in the thing, and you didn't download the day one update, you'd have 10 very similar situations where either some stuff just wouldn't be in the game because it needs the files from the day one update to run, or you'd get to parts where it's just like, oh, this is terrible. Oh my god, like,
Yeah.
there's no textures here. But you know what I mean? Like, it's a problem with like over reliance on day one patches. But
Yeah, it really annoyed me that though. I was just like, Jesus, person who doesn't have an internet or anything like that just can't fundamentally play this game, which sucks. You can
yeah,
only play the first 3 levels, which really, really sucks.
yeah,
And
like, it
that's
is
not good.
sucks. I don't want it to seem like I'm downplaying the issue you've had, because it does suck. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's gonna be
Yeah.
this is gonna be like this for half of the games we played last year, more than likely. But we just never noticed because under
We do
normal
the updates,
circumstances,
yeah.
everything's plugged in to the internet
Yeah.
and downloads everything automatically.
Yeah.
So Like, I might be
Yeah.
interested to try that on a game later in the year and just see what happens. Just like, be like, I'm not going to update whatever game and see what happens. And then it's like,
Yeah.
like Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
I'll get a disc for Cyberpunk and I'll put it in my PlayStation and I'll not update
Oh
it.
God.
We'll see what happens.
Oh man, Jesus, yeah. Oh, we all know they're re-releasing updated versions of that on the disc now when that's gonna come out.
I mean, it's the only place you could buy it on PlayStation.
That's gonna be the quote unquote Game of the Year edition.
Well, the thing is, it won a bunch of Game of the Years from outlets. So it's like, that's a thing they could release. Like, because it did win a few Game of the Years. Because there's a GOTY Picks blog, I think it's called, where you can, like, it just, every Game of the Year, all the different outlets, it just lists them as they come out. So it's kind of fun to just look and see, like, what the consensus was, like, what different games got Game of the Years, and, like, Cyberpunk got quite a few.
So the consensus was I played it on PC, so I was fine for the most part.
Got 9s and 10s on PC. I'm gonna look it up now. But yeah, no, at Hitman 3. In conclusion, like I am the target demographic of Hitman 3.
Yeah.
And I thought, like, yeah, it hit all the spots for me. There's no like.
I thought it would.
There's no like it is just. It is kind of just more Hitman, but they've done some really clever things with some of the levels, like we mentioned, the Dartmoor level and the Berlin level specifically. It's like I said on the podcast when we were talking about it, when we did Open Critic for it, it's like, this is just sort of like the apex of the Hitman experience, right? It's more Hitman, but it's polished, it's refined, it learns all of the lessons that of like having released 2 other games in the series. And that's great if you love that kind of thing. It won 20 Game of the Year awards.
My goodness.
I mean, yeah. Last of Us Part 2 won 168, though, so, you know. It's consensus there.
So we all know, ladies and gentlemen, Last of Us Part 2 was the best game of 2020.
One of them. So. Should we talk about one of the best games of 2021? Or what will be? Should we talk about one of the horniest games of 2021?
Go on, Amy. Talk about the demo.
Yeah, so we watched the Resident Evil showcase last week. Just before it went on, I said to Moody, hey, they're probably going to release a demo. Because, like, it just dawned on me that day. I was like, that's what they do. Why didn't I think of that before? And then yeah, they did. So the Maiden demo came out. It's a PlayStation 5 exclusive. So I was a bit gutted that you couldn't play it.
I couldn't download it on the PlayStation 4, yeah.
You couldn't play it so we could talk about it together. Because, but whatever. It's not a demo. They called it a visual showcase, which is kind of what it is because, like, it's not a part of the Resident Evil Village game. You don't play it. Did I load the video? I did. Good. Hey, good forward planning, Amy. Thanks, Amy. So it's a visual showcase. It's not part of the main game. It's a prologue that might not have much to do with the game, to be honest, apart from the setting. You play as someone in a prison, like, and then you escape from that prison and you wander around a bit, collect some items, solve a couple of very rudimentary puzzles, which is literally just find the thing to put in the thing to make the door open, or to cut the chain, for example. Like, you find some bolt cutters at some point. And it's very much just, look at our game, doesn't it look pretty? Yes, it does. Fucking Jesus, Moody. Like, it looks amazing. Like, we watched it we watched the showcase on Twitch, and remarked on how good the game looks. But, like, when you're playing it on a console, when you're not, like, watching a video compressed live stream over the internet, it's like, Jesus.
We didn't know, guys.
We didn't know. Jesus Christ, this game looks unbelievable. Which I guess is an appropriate place to start, considering, like I said, they called it a visual showcase. Like, it looks stunning. There's so much detail in, like, all of the textures, like, literally every direction you look. like I almost barfed at one point because I was like, oh, like toilet full of something, and there's like maggots wriggling around. I was like, oh, but I still stared at it for like 30 seconds. I was like, oh, that's disgusting. Looks amazing though, but also
but it's amazing.
But it looks amazing. Yeah, it's like there's two like two different kind of settings. You've got the underground cellar part, which is the part where you're trapped in and you're going to try and get out, and then you eventually find your way out into a part of the castle, what I'm assuming is the castle that they were showing off, because it looks exactly like it, and some of the people who live there turned up. And like, yeah, it's like you go from like this dark, dank, dingy basement covered in dead people, maggots, fucking all sorts of crazy shit, and then you go upstairs and it's like you're in this like frozen in time Victorian era-esque castle. And the difference is very striking, but also like it was cool to like explore that. It's like that is definitely going to be in the main game because there's a bunch of doors you couldn't get through, but there's definitely like a level behind them. Like there's definitely a room behind this door. It's just like I can't get through the door in this demo. But yeah, it's just like wandering around it, and it looks so stud. I'm looking at it. It looks so good. YouTube viewers, look at it. I know you're also watching an internet video compression video, but still,
It looks pretty.
It's so pretty.
So the ultimate question, I think, Amy, is: so how horny did you get for this game?
Oh,
for
so
this
horny.
demo?
So horny. You got no idea. Like, it was very brief, but I feel like that only made it worse. I spent 20 minutes wandering around in this castle being like, oh shit, something's going to try and kill me. And then when something tried to kill me, I was like, oh no. You're here.
She was like, hi there. Hi.
Yeah. See previous podcast for extended oh no joke. Yeah, it's like there was no combat in it. So it's like when you meet
that, didn't they?
you meet one of the ones that can like explode into a cloud of insects. Very briefly. One of the sisters. And then at the very end you get to meet the giant tall vampire lady.
Who everyone's in love with.
Yeah. She's so tall.
Watching you stream this game is going to be the funniest thing.
It's going to be good. Yeah, but you meet them very briefly and it was just like, hello.
Yeah.
I'm in love with this game.
Fantastic. Well, that's good though. Like we've said many times, we know the spoilers for this game, and we've both said that's actually got me more intrigued and interested in this game. So yeah, we're looking forward to this game. I'm really happy you've enjoyed the demo that they showed and everything like that.
Yeah.
And bring on, what was it, May
7th, 2021. I'm not gonna, obviously, like you said, we know the leaks, so I'm not gonna. Even though like nothing in this game pertains to what I've read, to what we've read in the leaks, like literally like all of the stuff surrounding the castle, like because we only really read summaries of the broader aspects of the plot, and nothing about this castle came up. So like all of this is brand new to us as well. But I'm still, even so, like I'm not gonna speculate on anything that I saw in this.
Yeah.
Like other sites could do that, it's fine. But yeah, it's like. Combat is obviously going to play a big part in this game. It was a big focus at the showcase. Like the fact that you got that Resident Evil 4-esque system of upgrading weapons suggests that combat is going to play a major role in the game. Plus, it's a Resident Evil game, so combat always plays a major role in it. So it's like playing the game, but with a big portion of the game missing, almost. But it's still got a lot of Resident Evil touches, like even just in the 20 minutes, where it's like there's a door and it's locked and you have to go and find the item. It's not a key, because of course it's not. Like, who hires these architects in the Resident Evil universe? where it's like if you go down, you find a ring. The ring's got a fucking fake eyeball in it. You get the eyeball out of the ring. You put the eyeball into because there's a face on the door, and there's only one eyeball in it. So it's like, oh well, I'll put the eyeball in here. Like, I don't know what's worse, right? The fact that that's how you unlock this door in this castle, right?
Yeah.
Or the fact that because I was playing Resident Evil and I looked at the door and I saw this first, I saw the stone relief fit on the door and I went, "That's a door I can unlock." And then I walked up to it and you click the button, and it goes, "You need an item for this," and I immediately knew exactly what item I needed. Because Resident Evil logic has been so ingrained in me that I literally looked at it and went, "I guess I need to find an eyeball." I don't know what's worse. Like, it was immediate. Like, the jump to that logic was immediate. It was just like,
Yeah.
well, guess I need to find an eyeball. Oh, look, a ring with an eyeball in it.
Well, I know where I'm putting this.
I know exactly what to do with this thing. Yeah, it's those same touches that I really appreciated from Resident Evil 7, right? Where it's like, it's in first person, and a lot of people were like, "It's not Resident Evil," and I was like, no, but it feels like it, because a lot of the same ideas and mechanics and systems come forward from the classic Resident Evil games. It was probably more Resident Evil than anything we had in 10 years.
Oh, hell yeah. Like, both you and me loved Resident Evil 7. Like, we praised it like crazy for it, so
those touches are still here. Like, and it's nice that I felt that even after just 20 minutes.
Oh, fantastic.
Because the first half of the demo, because you can kind of roughly split it into two halves. The first half of the demo is very, like, it amps up the horror and the spookiness. And then it's still spooky in the second half, but less so, because you're exploring a brightly lit castle as opposed to a dingy basement.
Yeah.
Where one of the doors is boarded up, but there's definitely something banging on the boards.
Definitely something there.
And that might come up in the main game. Yeah, you can actually see out the window at one point, at the place, the exit, that you're trying to get to. And it's quite funny how it's like, how like we've seen the village and we know the sort of greyish, sort of snow-covered aesthetic of the village. It's like you look out the window and it literally looks exactly like that out just on the inside of the window. And I was like, that'll be where you come from. That's the first bit out there. And then it's a proper fake out. You do the thing, you get the key, you run past the witch lady. She bit me. It was weird, but also kind of cool. And fear was a part of that, but not a major part of that. But then you run past, and then just as you're opening the door, it's like the door bursts in. She just ducks in, and it was like, oh dear.
Oh no!
She got me.
Don't do this.
I never saw this coming. She stabbed me in the face. Ooh. Like, it's the GIF, right, where it's like she picks you up, and then she's like smiling, and then the claws come out, and it was just like, okay, the claws are an interesting touch. Because I assume this is all going to tie into Resident Evil at some point. Which fascinates me, because, like, it's got werewolves and vampires in it, Moody.
That's what I think the quote-unquote Resident Evil purists are kind of still waiting for. Yes, they're like, oh, Chris Redfield's in there. Oh, does it look like Chris Redfield? Hashtag not my Chris Redfield type of thing. And it's just like, but the character's there, so...
Again,
see how the story's going. They have a plan. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah, it's like, I would love to know where these monsters have come from.
Yeah. If they haven't told it or started inkling what this is by the end of this game, then I can probably see where they're coming from and saying, okay, guys, you got to at least sprinkle it a little bit, saying type of these things.
Yeah. 7 was the reboot point. You can't do 2 reboots in a row.
Yeah. That's what they are, though. They're rebooting 4.
Oh, I mean, they're rebooting.
Calling it 8.
Also, like, I wrote this in as a question mark, and I'm going to say it in the podcast so I can say that I said it in case it comes up, but there might be ghosts in this game.
Sweet. Zombie ghosts.
Ghosts. Just like, you know what, like, I was doing the thing and stuff was happening, and I'm just like, no, I think there might be ghosts to go with the vampires and werewolves, so... We'll see.
All we're waiting for is Frankenstein, and we're there. Oh, Frankenstein's monster.
Yeah, ghosts, werewolves, zombies, Frankenstein's monster. What else is there? Like classic literary monstrous creatures, like aliens.
Swamp
Can we get
Thing?
some aliens? Like, oh yeah,
Swamp Thing?
aliens. But yeah, that was Resident Evil. That was Maiden.
The
They didn't
monster
call it
from
Resident Evil.
the Black Lagoon.
The monster from the Black Lagoon. Is that the next bit? The Black Lagoon is just behind the castle. Oh, if there's a swamp level in this, I hate swamp levels.
There was a giant lake level in Resident Evil 4.
It was.
Where you had to harpoon a monster, a giant fish.
I hated that boss fight. Cool. That was Maiden, Resident Evil Village. I'm super excited for Village. There'll be another demo at some point. With gameplay.
The demo is meant to be releasing closer to the date.
It'll come out in March, I reckon.
Yeah,
March, it's like halfway between now and the release of the game.
Yeah. I bet the demo for everyone else is just always going to be the demo you've already have.
No, they'll. I mean, I don't really want to speculate based on things I've read that people will try to avoid. But there's going to be.
I think the PlayStation 5 will get an exclusive new demo.
No,
but the rest of the people will only get them.
I think this demo is exclusive to PS5 because again, it was a visual showcase, so they were just like, we'll give the people on the powerful console the pretty looking demo, and then I think there's gonna be a gameplay demo, probably like set in the first part of the game, which will actually be a part of the game, and it'll be like because that happened. Resident Evil 7 had the lantern demo, which was like a small part of the game. I remember playing it in VR and ending up in a GIF on the Capcom UK Twitter feed because of my extreme reaction to a jump scare. Thanks, Capcom. So you could see me swear. Like there was no sound, but you could literally see me mouth the word "fuck."
We're
Oh,
both looking forward to this game. It's going to be hopefully excellent.
Yeah. So I got one more thing to talk about, then we can get the F out of here. But it won't take long. So I played a game called Ocean's Heart. And shout out, like, disclaimer, whatever. I got a given a code for this, so I could talk about it on this here podcast. So Ocean's Heart, it's an indie. Look, all right. I could use genre words, like word salad, to describe it. Like, have you played Link to the Past or any of the 2D Zelda games? Or do you know what they are?
I've played Link's Awakening.
Yeah, it's one of those kind of. It's very.
I've got a picture up here. It looks cute as hell.
It's very heavily inspired by old Zelda-like games. So it's like a top-down RPG exploration type game. And I played it for a couple of hours. I'm assuming it's a lot longer than that. But let me just flick over to the old gameplay. And yeah, it's very, we'll start there. It's very cute. Like, the pixel art is the reason I reached out to get a code for this, because I'd never heard of the game before. Yeah. I got an email, Ocean's Heart. I do read all of the emails I get, like, about all of these different indie games. It's just I very rarely respond to most of them. But this one, I looked at it, it's like, I watched the trailer looked cute, I read the blurb and the email. It's by the guy, do you remember last year on the podcast, we talked about Yarn Town, which was the, it was the PS1 remake someone did of the first area of Bloodborne, where they remade it as like a top-down RPG.
It rings a bell.
Yeah, this same guy. So that guy made this. So I was like, oh, cool. Like, I'll check this out. Like, I'm now really annoyed that I should have played Yarntown and added it to my Bloodborne video, and I'm really annoyed I didn't. But anyway, I digress.
Part 2, then, Amy.
Yeah, bonus. Deleted scenes. I'll just pretend I did.
DLC.
But yeah, it's like, if you've ever played Link's Awakening, Link to the Past, classic Zelda 2D games, like, not Breath of the Wild or anything like that, it's going to feel very familiar because it's essentially a loving homage to those games. And you can tell because you can play it and it feels the same, but also because there's a million references to Zelda in the game.
Yeah, I've got a picture up on my end here, and it just looks so adorable.
Yeah, it is really, really cute, but it's a nice game, Mooney. You know, we talked about this when we played Carter last year. it's nice, and I think that's a quality in games that is underrated by a lot of people. Where it's like it's not like it's not this epic, gritty, realistic, whatever other words you can use. It's just nice. Like I mean, it doesn't start out nice, like the pirates attack your village, and you pirates attack the village and they kidnap someone, and then your dad, who's like the volunteer navy guy, is like, I'm gonna go and rescue this person. I'll be back in a few days, and then literally he comes up 6 months later, and he hasn't come back yet. So then you sail off to go and find them. But it's just like it's charming. Like the characters are really cool. Like there's a lot of humor in the game. Like not like laugh out loud, I'm busting a gut humor, but it's just like, that's good. Like there's a guy who gives you a side quest at one point. And you never find out his name, and like he's grumpy old man, I think, or grumpy man or something, and then you talk to him for a bit and he's really obsessed with carrots. And he's like, his name changes in the dialogue box to say something along the lines of man who takes carrots seriously. Like it's like little touches like that where it's just like that's a cool touch. I approve of that touch. And then you go off and you do a side quest for him. Like there's so many like funny, quirky touches like that. Like some guy had bought a treasure map off a pirate for 3 squids. As in actual squids. And then like the entire time he's like, but I can't go because I'm old. You should go to this haunted island and find the treasure. There's probably loads of treasure. And the entire time you're doing it, the protagonist is just like, why do you assume that this treasure that a pirate was trying to get rid of? Like, why do you assume there's actually treasure there? So you go there, you fight some ghosts, you do a mini boss, and there's like a health upgrade there, but there's no treasure. Yeah. So then you come back and you're like, yeah, there was no treasure there. Like, and then like you eventually make the guy realize that the treasure map was probably useless. And then your quest reward is you can use the boat to go back to the haunted island anytime you want.
Yeah.
There's no reason to go back there. You've done everything literally everything that's there is you've done. So it's just a nice, funny, jokey reward at the end of the quest. It's like you can go back there anytime you want.
Go back.
Wonderful.
But it gives you the option, like those type of options. I don't mind just thinking, if you want to go back there, you can go back there. If you
no, that's not a complaint. It's a hilarious. I just find it a hilarious joke because it's always like, here, take all of my life savings, like as a reward, and this is just like you can use my boat to go back to the island. Mm-hmm. Even the character comments that that's useless. But thanks anyway.
Yeah, this one I have installed, and I having a look. Like I'm going to finish Hitman over the next day or two, and then I'm going to crack on maybe with this game and everything. Yeah. So, and there's also like another game I haven't installed. So nope.
The only thing I will say. Well, let me have a look. I had to go over 2 pages. The only thing I will say is the controls are a bit weird. I assume there's going to be a patch coming out because the controller stuff doesn't really work too great at the moment. So I was using the keyboard. You don't need the mouse.
Implemented for keyboard.
Yeah, you don't need the mouse at all, but you use the keyboard, and the controls are a bit strange. Like spacebar is your roll. If you actually look down at your keyboard right now, spacebar is your roll, C is your attack, and then X and V are your items, and D is your menu. So like, I can kind of see where they.
What do you use the arrow keys to move? I'm guessing.
Yes.
Or do you? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, use the arrow keys to move with your right hand. That's fine. I can live with that. Like I can see the logic behind it, but because all the buttons are really close together, you generally tend to hit roll when you're not meant to, because the space bar is the biggest button on there.
Yeah.
There's no option to remap the controls, which is why it's a thing where I pointed out. Hopefully there will be. The game also only has 4 directions of movement when you're rolling, so it's up, down, left, right. And turning, let's just say when you want to roll away from something like an attack, you pretty much want to do it instantly, and you're going to react quite quickly because someone will shoot a projectile at you, or a enemy will charge you. And the issue is, I'd say 90% of the time I was trying to roll, I was obviously trying to change direction because I was generally facing the thing I was fighting because I was trying to hit it with my sword. But I never it's difficult to change direction and then roll out of the way of something, because by the time
Yeah.
you see the thing coming, you don't generally have a chance to do both of those things. So what happened was I'd roll into damage a lot. It's a little bit fiddly on that regard, and there are a couple of difficulty spikes because of that specifically.
Yeah.
Um,
I think remapping it, being able to remap, would be fundamentally a good thing to possibly, hopefully, they are developing to put in. But also,
well, what I
like when I
think.
was,
Sorry, go on. No, you go on, because
when I was coding my little prototype for my college, like I had a part where my ship is literally going boop, 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 and like if you're watching if you audio listen, I'm literally just using my hand as the ship, and it was always like looked like it was hitting the railings, but it wasn't really hitting it. From when you were playing it, it wasn't hitting. So I put in too much code to make to do that, but I put so much in that I confused it a little bit. So they might just need to fundamentally just go back into the code and just simplify it for the game.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something like that.
What I think is, because you can move, so like you can hold down 2 arrow buttons at once and move diagonally through the world, but when you roll, you're rolling in one of 4 directions. And I don't know what I think might make the game feel better. The game feel better to play in combat. This is just a thing in combat. This is not the rest of the game. Is that if you're using an analog stick and you can just roll whichever way you point on the analog stick, that might make the game feel a lot better, more intuitive.
Yeah.
Maybe. But again, this is only an issue on bosses for the most part. Like when you're fighting normal creatures and whatnot, like it's fine.
You're fine.
You've got a massive arc to attack. So it's like if you're paying attention to what you're doing, like creatures can't really get close to you anyway.
That's good.
Which is cool. But yeah, like it's an issue, and I won't say it's a minor issue, but also like I feel like the good times and the good vibes from the game like overwhelmed the issue I was having. Like I wrote at the end here, the game it's chilled, it's charming, it's funny, and it's very welcoming. And it was a nice thing to sort of cleanse my Hitman / Resident Evil palette with. To go from like, you know, the world of assassination and scary vampire game demo to be like, now I'm in this bright, colourful, cheerful world where all the characters are fun and charming and it's fun. It's just nice.
Oh, that's good.
It's good.
Yeah, it's always nice to have that type of palette cleanser type of game.
Yeah.
Like, because I desperately, like I said many times, like as much as like I love like going back to the same game or like we've spoken about many times, Last of Us Part 2, you fundamentally needed a different game to play after that game. You needed something chirpy or happy or anything opposite to what The Last of Us Part 2 was.
Yeah.
Which is everything. You needed a palette cleanser. And that sounds like this great thing what anyone really needs. You always need a palette cleanser of a game.
Yeah. Like, it's one of the things I like about quote-unquote reviewing games and playing so many games, like, and trying a lot of games. It's like, one, it opens you up to be surprised so many times, like pleasantly surprised so many times, with games that you would never have tried or have never heard of before. But two, it's nice to have a multitude of different experiences, right?
Definitely, yeah. If you don't, you got to try new games for me. Like I say, different experiences. Yeah. You just don't know. Like as many games I've thought I would never play. I'll say Celeste, Dead Cells. Never thought I would play them. Played them. I got recommended by you. Your reviews for them made me go, oh, and all like that. And I played them. I was just like, good God, these are amazing.
Hell yeah, they are.
And everything. And I played Hades because of your recommendation and obviously Keith's recommendation for it as well. You were so hyped for it, and then I played it. I was just like, good God, this is an amazing game.
It is. And I finished it. That big list of games that I was going to finish over Christmas break. And I finished, I think, 2 on that list. One of them was Hades. But then it's like, oh, there's tons of post-game stuff to do. It's like, Hades does live service games better than live service games. It's not even trying to be a live service game. Because, like, I finished it, the credits rolled, and I'm still heavily motivated to continue playing the game. And it's just like, Avengers couldn't do that, and it's designed to do that.
Yeah, that's bad though, that isn't it? They aren't even trying to do that, and they got you to replay it many times.
Yeah.
And that's when it makes it even more better though. They aren't trying to get you to do that, but by the end of it, you are doing
Yeah,
that.
it's just like it was like, well, I finished the main story, but like obviously there's a lot of character arcs that I haven't finished, and also like quote unquote finishing the main story just kind of unlocks the next part of the main story. Like I can see why the credits rolled where they did, but also like now there's a bunch of other shit you can start doing, and it's like okay, you're in the what's called the epilogue, and it's not short, but it's like it's one of those things where it's like I'm gonna have fun coming back to Hades every now and again, just like progress some stuff a bit more, which is nice. Like there's only like once I realized I was playing Bloodborne for a month. I kind of took a lot of the games that were on my to finish list and went, do I really need to finish that? And I've kind of collapsed it down to 3 games now. There's 3 games that I want to go back to and finish. Which is nice because it's kind of forced me to, again, it's some cost fallacy, right? It's like some of the games were just on my list because they were short and I could finish them easily, or because I felt like I had to finish them. And now it's just like, no, now I've taken that list and I've pared it down to the games that I just want to finish.
Well, that's fantastic. Isn't it? Like, so, that's a brilliant thing about it. All the games we want, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Play games that you want to play. And if you don't feel like you want to play something, you can just stop playing it.
Exactly.
It's a lesson I had to learn over the course of years doing all of this. YouTube reviews and whatnot.
Yeah. Don't feel like you need to finish.
No.
Because if you're forcing yourself to finish in something, you're not enjoying it, and you know you're not.
No. Absolutely. Like,
I think that's it.
If you're a normal person and you're not us, because we sometimes have to stop playing games because other games have come out that need our attention. But if you're a normal person and you've stopped playing a game, there's probably a reason why.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. Weekly review episode, whatever I said at the beginning. We're back,
15.
baby.
We're back. Better than ever.
Yeah. We've got a massive list of games coming out now this next week, so I started playing a game for one retrospective video. That's going to take me fucking months to do.
You're the one who decided to do that.
No, it's good. It's good. But also, it's like, it's going to take a long time. And I've installed the other one for the one I'm going to do next.
That's good.
One's a long-term project that is going to require a lot of time. And another one is, I want to play this and it's short and I'll make a short video about it. I said Bloodborne was going to be a short video and look how that turned out, so we'll see.
That is true, true. But don't forget, if you need feedback, hit us up.
Will do. Well, I'm going to send you all of them. The only one I'm not going to send you, and I talked about this on the last podcast, the only one I'm not going to send you for feedback is Dino Crisis, because I'm going to drop it on you as a surprise one day.
Happy birthday, Moody. Birthday's in August.
Yeah, actually.
Who cares?
When's your birthday?
August 2nd.
Let me just write something down in my my Sherlock journal here. Because there's a page at the front for notes. And I was gonna like draw like a title page for it on here, but
yeah,
I'm just write some stuff totally unrelated
to Moody.
What was it again? August.
I'm not gonna finish. I'm not gonna say
2nd.
We'll actually be able to find out. Yeah, August 2nd. Yeah.
There we go.
35.
Plenty of time.
7 months, so
I might have finished this one epic fucking video I've embarked on by then. That's gonna do it for this podcast. We're gonna go on stream actually in 45 minutes, so I need to get some food.
So do I. Yep.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. We'll see you on Monday. It is Monday. We'll see you on Friday for the normal episode of the podcast. We'll see you next week where we're gonna review a bunch of indie games. At least
maybe
2.
The medium.
At least 2, because he's going to play at least 1, and I'm going to play at least a different one. So.
Hopefully.
Bye, everybody.
Bye, everybody.